Good or strong ESG, in my opinion, starts with organizational values, the principles that an organization stands by, the behaviors it encourages, and the decisions that its leadership makes. So that is when ESG becomes real. It gets translated into practices and projects. That is when it turns into better engineering, better performance, better value creation. So when we talk to our clients, we try to focus our conversations on the values that they have, the principles they stand by, and their corporate identity, so that we can actually translate those values into performance indicators and performance objectives, and so that they see tangible results out of it. And the ESG strategy that we provide to them is more practical and it's more impactful. We start with baselining and maturity assessments to identify where an organization stands. We conduct materiality assessments to define what matters most. And then we obviously create roadmaps to turn their ambition into actions. But what really sets Egis apart is the fact that we have enormous amount of project experience across sectors and regions, and we deliver end-to-end services across the life cycle. So we start with planning and design and construction and operations. So the amount of insights we get from the actual project teams is what helps us build a strategy that is practical, feasible, and that makes impact in real-world situations. So our ESG plans are not built on frameworks or theoretical statement of intent, but we basically create roadmaps and plans that actually work on the ground across any sector or region. So ESG has already entered the digital phase, and this digital transformation, I think, will be an enabler in making ESG more measurable, more manageable, and scalable. Across these industry surveys, the data is still identified as a challenge for ESG consistently because data is fragmented, it is hard to track, it is hard to monitor, and it's difficult to verify. So these digital tools will soon make ESG data centralized. They are already doing so, and it will only become more impactful when all these tools have a centralized and they combine, exchange information from one another. So that will make ESG a bit more easy for consultants and clients to monitor. They will be able to see real-time performance. They will be able to track KPIs across portfolios. And also on the sustainability performance side of things, advanced modeling and computation, AI-driven design optimization, these are already becoming essential. And we're already using these tools to optimize energy, optimize carbon. And I see that this will become more and more important in shaping, in future-proofing assets tomorrow. So the next phase of ESG is digital transformation. A person walking around in a community should have a sense of belonging. And when you see that, and that is, I think, the success of a good ESG strategy. You feel like you belong to the place, you're happy, you have emotional, physical, and mental well-being. The societies are happy, the environment around you is happy. So it's not just about the people, it's also about the plants, the animals, the environment around us. Everyone living happily and coexisting, and people are connected to nature. So at Egis, we use ecodesign approach, which is a bespoke framework in Egis, but it basically starts as soon as the project starts, at the project inception itself. So we look at the site, the opportunities, the constraints, the context it presents. We conduct climatic conditions assessments, we do site assessments, we identify access to resources, we look into the community needs, the future risks, and so on, in order to kind of, understand the biggest sustainability gains that this project can present. And that's what we present to our clients. And then we define performance objectives based on these opportunities and constraints that we identify. And these objectives then help us define the indicators for a project. And this is when we show our clients the value add. For instance, if we have carbon reduction as a performance objective, then our choices of materials are directly influenced by this goal. if we have water goals as our performance objective, then the landscape design, our infrastructure design, the selection of water fixtures and so on are influenced by this goal. And this is when we basically link, and this approach is being more and more appreciated by our clients, by our investors, because the impact of this exercise is not just theoretical, but it's visible. It's visible for us, but it's also visible for our clients and their investors, because they see the asset values improve, operational efficiencies improve, and they also see that the communities are happier, there's well-being across the communities. So I believe if organizations want to strengthen their ESG outcomes, they should move beyond strategy and focus more on real performance.